The top stories tonight in Y News. The Philippine National Police identifies 2 persons of interest in the recent explosion at Mindanao State University. Political party leaders in the House of Representatives express unwavering support for the pro-peace agenda spearheaded by President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. The Philippine Statistics Authority reports that the country has continued its downward trend, registering a drop to 4.1%. And Israeli forces urge the World Health Organization to evacuate supplies from a medical warehouse in Gaza within a 24-hour period. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, December 5, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harleen Delgado. First in the news. The Philippine National Police has made a significant strides in identifying 2 persons of interest in the recent explosion at Mindanao State University last Sunday. According to the PNP Public Information Office Chief, Colonel Jean Fajardo, the authorities not only have the names of these individuals, but are also aware of the group they are associated with. In addition to the 2 persons of interest, the police are actively searching for 2 potential lookouts.
Yung dalawa po na na-identify po natin, na base po ito doon sa mga description na ibinigay po ng mga nagsisimba po ng mga oras po na yon, at nung ipinakita po sa kanila yung mga pictures na fitting the description po nitong mga POIs po natin ay they positively identify po itong 2 POIs po natin. We are looking for at least 4 persons po. Maliban po dito sa POI natin, may 2 po tayong tinitignan na individual na posibleng nag-serve as lookout po dito sa nangyari pong pagpapasabog po.
Colonel Fajardo emphasized that the motive behind the explosion is not believed to be a retaliatory attack, dispelling any notions of reprisal. The PNP has firmly denied any failure of intelligence in relation to the incident.
Hindi po natin yan na sinasabing direkta na maaring ito nga ang may kinalaman o retaliatory attacks to. But we are also considering that dahil nga po doon sa mga nakala po nga nating na ebidensya na itong possible POIs po natin na 2 ay affiliated nga sa grupo po na ito. Wala pong failure of intelligence na nangyari po dito, kaya po minention ko na nga po yung priority intelligence reports, kasi prior po sa sa insidente po na ito ay mga nagbababa po tayo ng mga direktiba regarding nga po dito sa mga important information that we need to validate. At bago po nangyari ito ay wala naman pong na-receive ang probar ng any information that would lead to the specifics nitong mga alleged na magkakaroon ng pagbobomba sa Mindanao, particularly doon sa MSUs.
In a show of defiance and unity, the Atenito Coalition's civilian caravan is poised and ready to depart to the West Philippine Sea this Sunday. This decision comes in the wake of the Philippine Coast Guard closely monitoring the swarming activities of Chinese maritime militia vessels at the Julian Felipe Reef.
Well, at least the good news is mukhang cleared na ang mga alinlangan o worried ng government na baka masusuong tayo sa panganib or kinababahala rin namin kasi hindi natin kontrolado siyempre ang gusto nilang gawin. Ang sabi na lang namin, kukuha kami ng queue sa mas may alam dyan, no? Coast Guard, Westcom, na kung sa tingin nila medyo tagilid and all.
Despite the heightened tensions, Atenito affirms that the Philippine Coast Guard will lead the caravan, committing 2 patrol vessels to guide the convoy.
So far, tuloy ang original schedule na gabi ng 9th from El Nido, may ceremony, send-off, konting salo-salo, konting programa. Then early morning, as soon as the sun rises, December 10, sail patungo ng Ayungan Shoal. It will take at least a day para dumating siguro doon sa isang small island feature, yung Lamak. Baka pwedeng doon ang magbagsak ng ilang gifts and all that.
40 fishing boats are expected to participate, while most volunteers will board a volunteer commercial vessel. The coalition's message is crystal clear, a call for Filipinos to stand up and unite in defense of our territory.
Yung atin ito project mukhang naka-generate ng interest kasi nga bukas sino mang gustong sumali, volunteer nga ang main effort. Pero at the same time, may patutunguhan. Pag atin ito, tayo-tayo muna nag-uusap. Kaya sabi namin, hindi ito confrontational sa China o iba pang claim. Atin ito, tayo nag-uusap. Pahalagahan natin at dahil pinapahalagahan natin, dapat ipagtanggol natin.
After a temporary halt in operations due to a strong earthquake felt in Metro Manila, railways are now back in full operation. The resumption of services comes as authorities assess the safety of the infrastructure following the seismic activity. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Earlier today, around 4 p.m., major railways in Metro Manila temporarily halted operations following the occurrence of a magnitude 5.9 earthquake originating from Occidental Mindoro. Trains from LRT-1 and 2, MRT-3, and the Philippine National Railways were promptly advised to stop at the nearest station, temporarily deterring commuters from entering the stations. The managements of these railways announced the need for a visual inspection of tracks and facilities to ensure safety with a particular focus on identifying any cracks. Around 5 p.m., LRT-1 and 2 as well as MRT-3 resumed full operations, while the Philippine National Railways resumed services past 6 p.m. The earthquake felt not only in Metro Manila but also in Bulacan, Cavite, Batangas, Rizal, and other parts of Luzon, prompted swift responses in various government and private establishments. Employees from Malacanang evacuated the building, and sessions in the House of Representatives were temporarily stopped. Individuals from the Senate were forced to evacuate as well. Even employees in private buildings, including those from UNTV, were required to leave due to safety concerns. According to Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology or PHIVOLCS, earthquakes near Occidental Mindoro continue to occur, possibly considered aftershocks. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Political leaders within the House of Representatives are voicing robust support for the pro-peace agenda put forth by President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Meanwhile, the House Committees on Justice and National Defense and Security adopt concurrent resolutions on granting amnesty to former members of rebel groups. Rosa Licos will tell us why.
Political party leaders in the House of Representatives have issued a statement expressing unwavering support for the pro-peace agenda spearheaded by President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. This declaration comes in the wake of Vice President Sara Duterte's appeal to reconsider the decision to grant amnesty to rebels and insurgent groups, as well as resuming peace negotiations with the Reds. Political party leaders in the House of Representatives aligned themselves with President Marcos Jr.'s initiative for peace and national unity. They describe it as a historic move towards lasting peace and sustainable development. However, the Vice President offered a starkly different perspective, likening the government's resumption of peace talks with the communist group to making a deal with the devil.
Mr. President, the government's statement with the NDFP in Oslo was an agreement with the devil. Napatunayan na natin sa kasaysayan na hindi sila seryoso at wala silang sinseridad sa usaping pangkapayapaan.
This divide in opinion is further highlighted as several ranking congressmen expressed their support for PBBM administration's peace initiative.
I express my full and unwavering support for these peace initiatives of the President. Any chance, no matter how slim, for a long and lasting and just peace in our country must be pursued with vigor as the most viable alternative to prolonged and internecine warfare.
The good Vice President has a dissenting opinion with regards to this peace agreement. I respect her opinion. But of course, what I'm saying is, this is a matter of principle. This is a matter of commitment that all of us, elected public officials, career officials, appointed officials, should comply with our oath.
House Deputy Minority Leader and ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro questioned VP Duterte's statement.
Ito ba, ano ba yung mas devil? Yung magtuloy-tuloy, yung advocacy na magtuloy-tuloy yung gera o maging peaceful, 'di ba, ang ating bayan? At alin ba yung mas devil? Yung gumasta ka ng 125 million na confidential fund na wala namang authorization mula sa Kongreso. So tingin ko yun ang mas devil.
Meanwhile, the House Committees on Justice and National Defense and Security adopted House Concurrent Resolutions 19, 20, 21, and 22. This concur with presidential proclamations granting amnesty to former members of 4 rebel groups, including the Communist rebels. According to Presidential Peace Advisor Secretary Carlito Galvez, around 9,900 individuals will benefit from these amnesties once approved by both houses of Congress.
I would like to thank the chairman of the Committee on Justice and the chairman of Defense for overwhelming support. And this is really for the Filipino people so that we can finally have peace in our land.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, reported that the country's inflation rate continued its slowdown, dropping to 4.1% in November. Nelma Buhok reports.
Consumers enjoyed some slight inflation relief in November after prices rose at slower pace compared to the previous month. In a press briefing on Tuesday, December 5, the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, said that inflation eased further to 4.1% in November, a slight dip from the 4.9% recorded in October and slower than the 8.8% inflation rate reported in November 2022. The PSA said the deceleration in November's inflation rate can be attributed to the slower rise in the price of vegetables and other food and alcoholic beverages.
Ang nag-ambag ng malaki sa pagbaba ng inflation ng food and non-alcoholic beverages ay ang pagbagsak ng presyo ng vegetables, tubers, cooking bananas at iba pa na may negative 2.0% inflation.
USEC MAPA said that the marked slowdown in the price of vegetables can be explained by the absence of weather disturbances that cause short-term supply shocks. Also contributing to the decline were the slower increase in fish and other seafood. In a separate statement, National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan, said that the further drop in the inflation rate can be attributed to the timely implementation of strategies to stabilize food supply amid the anticipated domestic and external headwinds in the coming months. The country's chief economist said the government needs to continue monitoring the inflation situation in the face of continued price pressures coming from geopolitical tensions and extreme weather situations, further fueling uncertainty. Nel Maribuho, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
On Monday, December 4th, White House officials warned that the United States funding to aid Ukraine's war against Russia is nearly depleted. In October, President Joe Biden's administration requested almost $106 billion from Congress to fund Ukraine, Israel, and U.S. border security. Shalonda Young, White House Budget Director, penned a letter to Mike Johnson, Republican Speaker of the House of Representatives, along with other congressional leaders. In her letter, she stated that cutting aid to Ukraine would severely increase the likelihood of Russian victories and kneecap Ukraine on the battlefield. However, with a slim majority, the Republicans controlling the House has rejected Biden's request. Since Russia invaded Ukraine on February 2022, the American Congress has approved more than $110 billion in aid for Ukraine. Currently, the United States has spent 97% of $62.3 billion in supplemental funding, $4.7 billion in military assistance fund, $27.2 billion in economic aid money, and $10 billion in humanitarian assistance. The World Health Organization was forced to evacuate supplies from a medical warehouse in Gaza within a 24-hour period. Paul Gatchalian will tell us why.
The World Health Organization, or WHO, said they received a notification from the Israeli forces telling them to remove medical supplies from their warehouse in southern Gaza as ground operations would render them inaccessible. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has issued a plea to Israel, calling for the withdrawal of this order and urging the protection of civilians, hospitals, and humanitarian facilities in the region. However, Israel's Defense Ministry has vehemently denied any request for the WHO to evacuate warehouses, asserting a clear communication of this denial to United Nations representatives. In the midst of these conflicting statements, WHO Regional Director Ahmed Al-Manhari warns that the intensifying ground operations by the Israeli military in southern Gaza may cut off access to healthcare for thousands of people. The WHO's concerns further deepens as they express apprehensions over the risk of a major disease outbreak, with clean water and sanitation becoming inaccessible to the residents of Gaza. Paul Gatchalian, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The United States is closely monitoring the situation in Israel as the ground invasion into the Gaza Strip resumes. The Israeli forces, having already targeted the north, are now moving into southern Gaza to address militant groups. Amidst the conflict, Israel has designated safe zones in Gaza, and there are targeted requests for evacuation. According to State Department spokesman Matt Miller, there has been some improvement compared to the evacuation in the north, where over 1 million people were displaced. During a recent visit to Israel, U.S. Secretary of State conveyed to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the military operation in northern Gaza should not be replicated in the south. The ongoing clashes between Israel and the Hamas resumed on Friday after a 7-day ceasefire, during which hostages and prisoners were released and humanitarian aid was delivered to Gaza.
We pursued them in northern Gaza. We're now pursuing Hamas in southern Gaza too. Every civilian death is a tragedy that the IDF does not want and is taking extensive measures to avoid. Israel does its best to distinguish between civilians and terrorists.
The House Committee on Legislative Franchises has taken a stern stance, citing hosts of Sunshine Media Network International, or SMNI, Lorraine Badoy and Jeffrey Celis, in contempt. The House panel has been conducting a probe into SMNI, prompted by Celis' statement alleging that Speaker Martin Romualdez spent 1.8 billion pesos for foreign trips in 2023. Badoy was cited in contempt for refusing to answer inquiries and accused of disrespect through lying. On the other hand, Celis faced penalties for failing to disclose the identity of his Senate source for the purportedly incorrect information about the Speaker's travel expenses. As a consequence, both Badoy and Celis are now detained within the premises of the House of Representatives until the panel concludes its investigation and forwards its report to the plenary. The newly installed chief of the Department of Agriculture vows no special favors will be given to his family and its businesses in the fishery sector. This report will tell us why. Department of Agriculture or DA Secretary Francisco Laurel Jr. assures that transparency will be upheld under his term. This as he faced the powerful Commission on Appointments or CA today. Senate Deputy Minority Leader Rizon Tiveros quizzes the newly installed secretary about his businesses in the fishery sector and its potential conflict of interest as a public servant. The DA chief says he already divested from all of his companies and shareholdings. Laurel is a known fishing tycoon and a close friend of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
At paano nyo masisiguro o paano nyo ma-assure yung publiko na ang DA sa pamamagitan ng attached agencies niya ay hindi magkakaroon ng kahit anong impluensya o preferential treatment sa pagkondukta ng negosyo nila?
Transparency is key, and basically everybody has to observe the rules, especially that I am here now as a public servant. Ang bilin-bilin ng tatay ko, hindi kami pwede mapahiya. So, at hindi, yung mukha namin ay pinaka-importante. So, there should be no special favors for my family's companies, no accommodation, and my family will not allow them.
Meanwhile, Laurel adds President Marcos Jr. has revealed to him names of alleged agricultural smugglers in the country. Laurel plans to go after them beginning next year.
They have a new intelligence unit who are verifying everything. So maybe by first quarter next year we will be moving already.
Lawmakers hope under Laurel's leadership, large-scale agricultural smugglers will finally be put behind bars. Harin Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God. Residents in the town of Santa Maria, Bulacan can now be early prepared for any danger caused by floods and typhoons. The installation of the new automatic flood siren detector, the first in Central Luzon, marks a significant milestone in providing early warnings to avoid severe flooding. Kath Damaraos will tell us why.
A loud siren echoed throughout the town of Santa Maria, Bulacan from a newly installed automatic siren flood detector tower. This innovative project, spearheaded by the local government and the Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office or MDRRMO of Santa Maria, officially opened yesterday. According to Jonathan Halili, the head of Santa Maria MDRRMO, they have long sought a mechanism that can effectively alert the public with loud sounds when floodwaters rise. This cutting-edge tower is a game changer, providing up to 3 alarms to warn residents of the need for evacuation as river levels surge. What sets this project apart is its automated nature. Local government units and MDRRMO can monitor flooding using sensors, eliminating the need for manual operation.
So if ever na may tubig na to, hindi mo na siya mapapababa ng tao para ma-check kung anong level na ba yung tulay, tumataas pa ba, bumababa na ba.
Meron kasing baha na rumaragasa, madaling araw, tulog lahat. Automatic na po siyang tutunog. Yun po ang kagandahan, yun po ang benefits na makukuha ng mga resident ng Santa Maria na pag siren nun, ay automatic evacuate na po lahat. Kasi ibig sabihin, tumaas na po yung tubig.
Mayor and Vice Mayor of Santa Maria expressed their support for the project, emphasizing its comprehensive features, including a water level monitoring system and an automatic weather station. This technology enables them to assess the situation in Santa Maria remotely.
Talagang mahalaga to sapagkat matagal na namin gusto to. Nagkataon na may nag-apply sa amin at tila mura ang presyo, may mababa ang presyo na makakatulong sa ating mga kababayan.
This groundbreaking initiative, costing 4 million pesos, marks the first of its kind in the entire Central Luzon region. Kat Maraos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The courtyard of the Supreme Court was charged with various emotions earlier this afternoon as the High Court unveiled the results of the 2023 bar examinations. For many aspiring lawyers, this moment marked the culmination of years of hard work, dedication, and countless hours of preparation. Dante Almento tells us why.
Of the 10,387 aspiring lawyers who took the country's one of the toughest exams,
The bar examinations, only 3,812 of them passed with 36.77% national passing rate. Tears of joy overflowed for those who made it, that after all their uphill battle, they will be soon called as attorneys.
Masalamat po una-una sa kay Lord God po, siya po talaga. Tapos masaya po ako kasi para sa magandang buhay ng anak ko. First daughter niyo po siya, kaka 1 year old niya lang. It's a blessing po talaga. Maraming salamat po kay Lord.
Sobrang saya po. Kakasundo ko lang sa magulang ko galing ibang bansa because they've lived there for more than 20 years. So they came home to wait for the results and we're very appreciative na pumasa ako. Without them, I wouldn't be in this place and this time. So maraming salamat.
Joy Grace Duremdes proves that no matter how many times you stumble down, all you have to do is get up and continue for your goal.
This is my third time already, and my previous score was 74.6. So sungkit din.
Meanwhile, 2023 Bar Chair Associate Justice Ramon Paul Hernando sincerely reminded all bar passers to follow all the canons of being a professional.
Yes, you have passed these 2023 bar examinations, but this is only the beginning of your professional life, and you are going to be expected to be full adherence to the rule of law.
Justice Hernando also believes that the results of the bar were reasonable.
You know, ang feeling namin, yung 36.77 is just enough. It's reasonable. And objectively, it's a good number. And pati yung top 20, it's representative of law schools, no? It's varied. Kita nyo naman, iba-ibang law school.
The new lawyers will take their oath on December 22 at the SMX Convention Center in Pasay City. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
In other global news, the United States and Japan military are conducting a combined search and rescue operation to locate and recover the remains of U.S. military airmen following the crash of a U.S. CV-22 Osprey in Japan. The U.S. Air Force has identified one body, Staff Sergeant Jake Gallagher, 24 years old from Massachusetts, a member of the Yokota Air Base Intelligence U.S., has confirmed the sighting of 5 bodies at the wreckage site of the Osprey mishap, as stated by Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh during a press briefing at U.S. Department of Defense. The White House reports that 2 of the bodies have already been recovered, and recovery efforts continue to retrieve the remaining bodies from the wreckage site, along with the ongoing search for other missing passengers. The CV-22 Osprey, a hybrid plane with 8 passengers, was on a training flight from the U.S. Marine Corps Air Base in Yamaguchi Prefecture to Kadena Air Base in Okinawa. It made an emergency landing on Yukushima Island, flipping and catching fire before crashing, according to eyewitnesses. The CV-22 Osprey is currently grounded as Tokyo requested, and investigations into the cause of the crash are ongoing. On Thursday, December 7th, a summit between China and the European Union is set to take place, aiming to discuss various global economic issues. This follows several high-level meetings between top diplomats from the EU and China to find common ground in their complex relationship. Despite differing perspectives on various international and regional issues, both powers express hope for maintaining world peace and stability while addressing global challenges, according to Wang Wenbin, spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry. Chinese President Xi Jinping is scheduled to meet with European Council President Charles Michel and President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen on Thursday. The two sides are expected to discuss strained relations on trade issues, including the EU's anti-subsidy investigation into electric vehicles and the investigation into a Chinese steel maker. Last month, China also announced its agreement to visa-free travel for citizens from France, Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands within the EU. While the focus of the talks between China and the EU is on trade, the economy, and politics, Human Rights Watch EU Director Philippe Dam encouraged von der Leyen to address human rights violation issues with China during the discussions. After enduring an extended period of drought in the eastern part of Africa, the region is now experiencing weeks of continuous rainfall. Unfortunately, this has led to soil erosion and claimed the lives of at least 47 individuals, with an additional 25 reported injured. The heavy rainfall has left numerous roads in the area submerged in mud, water, and fallen trees. Rescue and relief efforts are underway to address the immediate needs of those affected. In the midst of this tragedy, Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan, who is currently in Dubai for the COP28 climate conference, expressed her condolences to the families of the victims. President Hassan has also ordered additional forces to aid in evacuations and provide assistance to the affected population. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Oralyn Quijano, live from Toronto, Canada. Good evening.
Acknowledges the impact of UNTV sports and charity through the UNTV Cup. According to them, this initiative has played a pivotal role in fostering character and camaraderie among the participating agencies. Not only has it served as a platform for friendly competition, but it has also inspired these agencies to continue their commitment to public service. Gladys Tuabi explains why.
Nice pass. Good ball reversal.
The Social Security System, or SSS, shares their perspective on the UNTV Cup, emphasizing that it goes beyond being just a basketball game. According to the agency, the league has served as a transformative platform, inspiring them as public servants.
It's amazing how this sport has helped transform us, actually, a Filipino culture, and small pockets of community like SSS. It's amazing how this sport not just builds character of the players, but builds character and camaraderie and the spirit of the community. So aside from that basketball spirit, yung mga government employees, government workers, nakikita yung opportunity mag-interact sa amin, mag-inspire sa bawat isa na ipagpatuloy yung public service na ginagawa namin through this platform.
Every player on the team dedicates their time and effort, not just for the love of the sport, but with the hope of making a meaningful impact for their chosen charity.
Ang inspiration po namin, gusto po talaga namin makasali dito sa UNTV para makatulong rin po as charities.
Naglalaro kami, pero we're not just playing for ourselves. Naglalaro kami para sa mga beneficiary namin. Na palagay ko yun yung pinakamagandang bagay na meron tong liga na to, na wala yung ibang liga.
Lagi ko sila kanilang sinasabi na isipin din natin yung beneficiary natin. Kaya tayo sumali dito, siyempre, para din makatulong tayo. Ang ganda, di ba parang ang sarap sa pakiramdam ng nag-enjoy ka na nakakatulong ka pa.
The team engages in regular practices and tune-up games, honing their skills and strategy for the real showdown on the hard court.
Time management, siguro yung susi doon, no? As a public servant, we are working 8 to 5 daily. Araw-araw kami nag-work 8 to 5. Pero after nun, we make sure na nakapunta kami sa mga trainings namin para makahabol kami sa mga conditioning namin.
Yung sa workplace po, sa workload, binabalance po namin yon sa pagpapractice. Nag-aside po kami ng allotted time sa practice and work. Minamanage na po namin ng maayos yung time and schedule.
The SSS expresses gratitude for once again being part of the UNTV Cup, seeing it as an extension of their ability to assist the Filipino people through the avenue of their favorite sport. In recognition of their shared mission, SSS Kabalikat received a plaque of appreciation yesterday from UNTV Sports and Charity. acknowledging their commitment to helping those in need. Looking ahead, catch the game between SSS Kabalikat and OPPMS Trailblazers this Thursday, December 7, 2023 at Paco Arena in Manila at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's more than a game, it's a cause. Gladys Tuabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, verse 26, it says, "For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom, and knowledge, and joy, but to the sinner he giveth travail, to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before God. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit." And those are the reasons behind the news December 5, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I'm Hardin Delgado. We serve the people, we give glory to God.